Good morning, good afternoon and good evening to fight fans and sports fans from across the world. I hope you're all well. I just wanted to give you a quick update of what's happening in the current heavyweight division. I'm going to be travelling over to New York on June the 1st. I'm going to be defending my heavyweight championship titles at MSG, aka Madison Square Gardens, against a fighter named Jarrell Miller, aka Big Baby Miller. It's going to be live on DAZN, it's going to be live on Sky Sports. You know the current state of the heavyweight division right now is full of boxing politics. But you know how it goes, I just got to roll with the punches. You know, I would have loved to fight at Wembley Stadium and brought you guys the undisputed championship of the world. But I'm looking forward to the new challenges. 2019, asked for new challenges, and this is one of them that's presented itself. So if you want more information, head over to my YouTube channel as well. I've done a longer video. And yeah, my feet are firmly on the ground. I'm not looking too far ahead. I'm looking forward to the challenge. New York, we're coming for that W. Peace.
There you have it. Anthony Joshua confirming he's fighting Jarrell Miller on the 1st of June in the United States at Madison Square Garden in New York. Not a total shocker. We've known this was coming down the pipe for a couple of weeks now. Mike Coppinger had sort of revealed this a couple of weeks ago. It seemed to be all over, bar the shouting. It was more about the announcement, and now we have it. So there's been a coordinated effort across the Matchroom, DAZN, all the broadcasters, the stadium, the fighters, and they have announced this thing now. So what I'll do is I'll get to the announcement proper with the official press release for this, a bit of a reaction from Jarrell Miller on social media. You've just heard from Anthony Joshua. We'll get to Miller as well, and a couple of thoughts. So we'll start off with the official press release from matchroomboxing.com. See on screen here, Anthony Joshua to face Jarrell Miller in the US debut at Madison Square Garden. So it says, heavyweight boxing's biggest star, Anthony Joshua, OBE, will defend his WBA Super, IBF, WBO and IBO world titles against Jarrell Miller in his long-awaited US debut at the iconic Madison Square Garden in New York on Saturday, June 1st, live on Sky Sports Box Office, yada yada yada, DAZN. Joshua 22-0, okay, we'll get past some of this puffery here. And now sport's biggest name will follow in the footsteps of heavyweight greats such as Joe Louis, Joe Frazier, Evander Holyfield and Muhammad Ali when he crosses the Atlantic to silence Brooklyn's brash Big Baby Miller at the Mecca of boxing. So the quote here, June 1st, I'm heading to the Big Apple and I plan to embrace the culture and leave with an appetite for more, said Joshua. I will be fighting Jarrell Miller at the legendary Madison Square Garden. It has been an honour and a blessing to fight at some of the best venues in the world at home in the UK, not least Wembley Stadium, but the time has come to head across the Atlantic and defend my heavyweight titles in the USA. I'm looking forward to taking on another challenge with a good boxer and a brilliant talker. It will be an exciting fight. I will leave nothing to chance and plan on dismantling Miller in style to make my mark. Miller 23-0-1, that one draw is Joey DeWecco, if you didn't know, 20 KOs, has been calling for a British scalp ever since he went face-to-face with Joshua during a heated exchange at the launch of DAZN's streaming service in the US in July last year. And the undefeated 300-pound giant is promising to turn AJ's American dream into a living nightmare as he looks to announce himself on the biggest stage of all. Miller earned his shot at Joshua with successive wins over former world title challengers Gerald Washington, Marius Wach, Johan Dorp and Thomas Adamek, crushing the latter inside 2 rounds on his Matchroom Boxing USA debut at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago in October. He followed this up with another big stoppage win, this time steamrolling Bogdan Dinu in 4 rounds to claim the interim NABA heavyweight title at the Kansas Star Arena. And now Miller returns to his home city to fulfill a lifelong dream of fighting for the world heavyweight crown. So he says, AJ's making a huge mistake coming over here to fight me in my own backyard. He wants to announce himself on the American stage, but all he's doing is delivering me those belts by hand. It's dog eat dog in the ring, and this dog has got a bigger bite. He'll be leaving New York empty-handed. This is the fight that I've been chasing all my life, and on June 1, I'm going to achieve the thing I was born to do and win the heavyweight championship of the world. That punk AJ is standing in the way of my dreams, and on June 1, he's getting run the hell over. And then we move on to Eddie Hearn here with a quote. "It's been an eventful few months, but I'm delighted to finally announce that Anthony Joshua will make his American debut at the iconic Madison Square Garden on June 1. AJ has created an incredible Lions Den atmosphere in the UK, and we plan to bring that energy to New York on a card that will be stacked with British versus American talent. When you look at the heavyweight greats that have graced the renowned mecca of boxing, the names of Ali, Fraser, Marciano and Tyson stand firm, and June 1 will be a moment when the world will witness AJ's turn. Jarrell is someone I know, having been involved in his last 4 fights in America. I know how much he wants this fight, and I know the belief that him and his team have in beating AJ. He is a mountain of a man with an incredible work rate, and he will get the chance to challenge for 4 world heavyweight belts in his backyard this summer. They went head-to-head for all the wrong reasons last summer, and next week they will do it again as we get ready for the big build-up for a monstrous moment on June 1st at MSG." And then we've got Adam Smith here quoted. I'm not going to get into that. Who else we got here? DAZN, no, not interested. Then we have a guy from MSG. No, not going to read that. Then we have Dimitri Salita. That is one of Miller's co-promoters. He's had some beef with Miller recently. Well, I should say Miller's had some beef with him, been chewing him out in public and other bits and pieces. But he is quoted as saying, "On June 1, Brooklyn's Jarrell Miller will fight in the world's greatest city for boxing's greatest title, the heavyweight championship of the world, on boxing's biggest stage, the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. It's a dream come true for Jarrell, but it's exactly what we envisaged and what I promised him when I began working with Jarrell in his second professional fight. He is on the verge of making history, and I'm proud to have been there since the beginning. On June 1, Jarrell will follow in the footsteps of Brooklyn heavyweight greats Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe to bring the heavyweight title back to its rightful home in New York." Greg Cohen of Greg Cohen Promotions, that's the other co-promoter for Jarrell Miller, says, "It's incredible to be a co-promoter of Jarrell Miller's world title challenge against Anthony Joshua on June 1st, streamed live on DAZN. The fact that this event is taking place at Madison Square Garden makes it extra special as it's a home game for Team Miller. I can't wait to hear Michael Buffer announce and the new." And then we have some ticket information. Tickets for Anthony Joshua's long-awaited American debut against Jarrell Miller at Madison Square Garden in New York on June 1 will be available to purchase from this Friday. So not long to go for that to go on sale at Madison Square Garden. If you do need more information, it is there on matchroomboxing.com. There's a couple of bits and pieces on the site in general. And actually, just looking at this promo, does Jarrell Miller look a little bit like Mr. T here? There's something a little bit Mr. T-ish. Anyway, so Jarrell Miller on social media, you may have seen this on Twitter as well, but this is posted on his Instagram, so the promo. And then he says, "Just a moment of clarity. You don't need any Olympics, a real giant promoter, just a huge pair of balls and the belief that God made you for a purpose. So big you can't even see it, just believe it and feel it. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Now it's time to tell AJ, take all the humble shit, put on ice cream cone and shove where the sun don't shine. Sweet and low, Barbie doll. Welcome to my city where rats and roaches steal your pocket money. This is my city." And then a bit of a disguised expletive there. Hashtag Brooklyn, hashtag lots of different bits and pieces. So that post there, he also broke that up for Twitter and did it over 2 different posts. Obviously, Twitter word limits and whatnot. Plus, he's got a zillion hashtags in each. Anyway, so that is Jarrell Miller, and Matchroom Boxing says, confirmed GB US Anthony Joshua defends his world heavyweight titles versus Big Baby Miller at the world famous The Garden, New York City, June 1, live on Sky Sports Box Office, DAZN, hashtag Joshua Miller. And there's another one here of Madison Square Garden. So this is where it's going to be. So I guess the questions now, and I'll cover all of this off in a different video. You know, will it be a sellout? What sort of traveling support will Anthony Joshua get? Some of the other bits and pieces associated with this fight, I'll go into a bit more depth in a top 10 things to watch for. But this is the announcement, Anthony Joshua facing Jarrell Miller. It's confirmed. It may not have been the fight that we wanted. They have abandoned Wembley. Wembley has been left behind. No 90 to 100,000 stadium fight. For me, that's a little bit of a shame that they've had to, the way it's sort of panned out, because I think, you know, there was a bit of egg on face from that situation, but they've all moved past that now, and we have this fight. And you have to remember, Jarrell Miller is a top 10 contender, so while it may have not been the fight that we wanted, it's not the worst fight in the world, but it wasn't one that, a majority of fans were calling for, but it's the one we've got. So this is the one we're left with, and this is the one I'll be covering in the next couple of months with build-up. So June 1st is the date that this will be happening. What do you make of this announcement? Anthony Joshua confirming he's fighting Jarrell Miller 1st of June in New York. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.